No original cast members had been told that they were leaving and they were all staying. So I was like, oh, they're safe. So when I went into my meeting, I sat there and they read from a script which was with everybody. As they were reading it, a tear, this sounds so dramatic, but a tear fell from my cheek because I had this really, like I felt it. I felt it in the room that something was happening. And they got to the end and said, and with that said, we will be losing Cindy from the show. And the first thing I said was, you're not taking me to the 30th. And I just said, I don't understand. And I kept saying, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. And I was very, very distraught. I didn't take it well. I think I was probably the most dramatic one that they'd had that day. And I said, but I'm an original character. I said, I was clutching to anything. I was like the first person to give birth on the show. I was literally clutching to anything to make them change their minds. And I could see the distress that I was causing to them because they were obviously upset that I was upset, and they were just doing their job. And, obviously it was a numbers thing, even though I believe that I'm not just a number, but that's kind of how it was told to me. It was about story arc and where they were going with the show. So I just left, and I cried uncontrollably. I went into makeup, and a couple of cast members kind of picked me up off the floor and just held me until I kind of calmed down a bit. I kind of had a really bad gut feeling on the Thursday night when I went to bed. My fiance was actually out with a friend, so I didn't have him with me. And I phoned him up and I said, Tom, I'm feeling really unsettled. And he was like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I just signed my contract as well.
Yeah.
For a few months previously. So I had a year anyway. So in my mind, I was like, well, I've signed for a year plus a year option. So I'm obviously not going anywhere. And everyone was like, you'll be fine. You're an original character. They're going to keep the faces. And this was from all the cast members, who everyone was trying to G everyone up to, no one wanted to see anyone get cut. I still feel like there was so much more left for me to do, for Cindy to do. There was no nonsense, and she was so much fun to play. If anyone watched it back in, the 90s, Cindy was very much the naive, knocked up at 16 and, was a single mum. So to come back to the show in 2008 and be this glamorous sex kitten who got all the men and kind of used and abused them, absolutely, it's a delicious role to play. I naively thought that I would not have a job for life, but I would be a part of the show until
Well, it's the nature of the game, but did you expect a little bit more loyalty for your almost 3 decades?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anyone would. I think if anyone said that they didn't, they'd be lying.
That's why I said I couldn't understand their reasoning, because I've been there so long, and it's kind of part of I feel like Cindy's part of the fabric of Hollyoaks, because my character started back in 1990, well, 1996 I started. And when you think of Hollyoaks, you think of Tony, Cindy, Darren, Jack, those names, and to still have those foundations in a show, a bit like your Ken Barlows, your Sally Webster,
Yeah.
that's what holds it together and keeps your old, the old viewers who watched it since the beginning. That's how you keep them in. I think it's really hard to get new people interested in a show that's been running so long. I think it's hard to do that anyway. I would never have lied to the fans about me leaving. I could have said, oh, well, I want to do other things now. I've been, Cindy for so long. I want a taste of what's out there. It's barren out there. But,
Yeah.
but I wanted to tell the truth, because I owe that not just to myself but to the fans, because I like I said in my statement, I would never have chosen to leave.
Yeah.
It never been my choice. But now now I'm okay. Now I'm like, okay, let's go, it's not like it was back in the day, especially the numbers. I think people would be very surprised to hear what we would get paid, if I'm
Yeah.
honest. I personally, I've always been a little bit of a saver. I'm not extravagant in my lifestyle whatsoever. I live in a very modest three-bed. Well, now I'm doing an extension at the minute, but that's come at a good time.
Yeah.
And also, I don't spend loads of money on designer clothes or anything like that, but I live a very humble life. Um, I've never been a flashy, splash the cash woman at all. I've been quite savvy. So people who are quite ignorant can go, oh, well, you must have plenty of money or whatever, and all kind of be ignorant to that. If I had to go out and get what they call a real job, what? Like in a heartbeat, of course. Like just, do you know, if I was to get another acting job, right? And it was just, like a drama, I would be paid like a fraction of what a regular person would earn in a year. Like,
Yeah.
in a regular office job or, being in a regular soap. Yes, it's a nice income. It's not, I'm not a millionaire or anything like that. But if I was to now go and say, get an episode of, I don't know, Casualty, it'd be like a grand, and especially as the cost of living crisis, everything's gone up. I mean, I look at my bills and I'm like, oh God, and like I said, I live in a modest three-bed semi, So what I'm saying is that I now do have to look at my life, reassessing, and what do I now want to do? Do I
Yeah.
need to train in something else? Because I bloody do, you know.
Yeah.
I need to train to be something else so I can build a business and do something while I'm waiting for an audition. I'd love a good Netflix drama or something like that.
Yeah.
The thing is, with soap acting, it's soap acting and it's very, it's quite camp and over the top. So you have to be a bit bigger than what you would normally play. Now, I've done roles previously to this where it's a bit more understated and I really want to do a good gritty drama or something. I've just watched Kin. Now, I can't do a Northern Irish accent.
Yeah.
Something like that would be amazing. But I'd love to do. I wouldn't say no to another soap either. Obviously I've done Coronation Street before, but I'd love to maybe pop up on the cobbles. You never know.
Yeah.
I'd love to do the jungle. I just feel like I've had enough. I worked in Australia when I left Hollyoaks the first time. I did a show out there in Sydney for 4 months, and I feel like I belong there. So anything that gets me back to Australia, get me on that plane. So yeah, no, I'd love to do it. I think it's a challenge as well. And I love the show, so we'll see. But they always say that, don't they? People who leave soaps, oh, I'd love to do the jungle.
Yeah.
There is, I mean, I'm really into like wellness, like
Right.
coaching, and it's something that I've really interested. But I also want to be a writer too, so I'm looking into writing. So um, there's a lot of little pockets of things that I'm interested in that I haven't had time to do. So, and I never thought I could do it until I actually sat down and did it, and I was like, I've had some time now to really go, wow, okay, this is a new passion that I didn't even know that I had. And now I'm going to have some time to actually focus on it. So, yeah, watch this space.